What if Anakin was made a Jedi Master in Revenge of the Sith? Let's explore the depths of this scenario in the video. You are on this council, and after careful deliberation, we have agreed to make you a Jedi Master. Anakin looks up in surprise at the gathered Jedi. He knew this was a bold move for the Chancellor and expected more resistance from the council. However, he glances over at Obi-Wan, who gives him a faint smile. It was he who talked to the Jedi Council, reminding them that if they want Anakin to help, they must show him some trust first. Slowly, Yoda begins to nod and goes on.
But know this, young Skywalker. A great responsibility to be on the Jedi Council it is. Prepared you must be to do whatever it takes for the Jedi Order.
Anakin kneels. I will do whatever it takes to uphold the Jedi Order's principles. The others begin to smile, seeing his enthusiasm. They all hope that it will remain that way after what they ask next. Good. Because we do have a problem. You can agree that your appointment is highly irregular, not just because of your age. The Chancellor is trying to meddle in affairs of the Jedi Order, and we must be certain that this is not part of a larger trend. I will speak to the Chancellor at once about this. You will do nothing of the sort. We fear that the Chancellor might have ulterior motives after the war ends, and we wish for you to keep an eye on him. You wish for me to spy on him?
For years, worried we were of the dark side influences on the Republic. In these waning days of war, strike at last it may.
We must make sure we are ready when it comes. What we are asking is an enormous responsibility. The fate of this council, the Jedi Order, and the Republic is in your hands.
You are putting a lot of trust in me, Masters. I promise I will not let you down. The council nods and continues their meeting. Anakin can barely pay attention as his mind is racing, considering all the things he's just learned. In a day, he becomes a Jedi Master and a member of the council, but now he is starting to understand how much responsibility that entails. When the Chancellor hears of this, the surprise is clear on his face, but he quickly masks it and congratulates Anakin. He says how much the young Jedi deserves this position for all his hard work. However, the concern slowly grows inside him as he wonders whether this might affect his plans. He tries to act like everything is normal, before adjusting his plans. Jedi Master or not, Anakin will never be able to reveal his secret about Senator Amidala to the Jedi Council, and that is Palpatine's way in. He continues to send Anakin visions of her, careful to avoid mentioning her in their conversations as he lets the visions haunt the young Jedi Master. After several days, it becomes impossible for Anakin to conceal his lack of sleep, and Palpatine gently sits him down.
Oh, Anakin, you do not look well. I hope the stress of the council has not gotten to you already.
No, it isn't that. I've just been having some nightmares recently. Visions, actually, about Padme.
I know you and the Senator are quite close. This must be serious. Please tell me about it.
The Chancellor sits the young Jedi down as the two converse about what Anakin saw in his nightmares. He talks about how he sees visions of her dying in the birthing room, going into great detail. As it happens, the Chancellor listens with a patient smile. Then he tells him that, as a Jedi Master, he must have the answers ready. Anakin is less certain, and admits he doesn't believe so. Palpatine says that he will always be there to listen and help. Anakin thanks him for the help, and feels a bit better with this news. Palpatine takes this opportunity to begin picking at Anakin's faith in the Jedi. However, his resolve is much stronger than before. Each time the young Jedi Master wavers, he recalls the trust the Jedi put in him and resists the temptation. This frustrates Palpatine to no end, who sees that Anakin will not break so easily. Instead, he decides to invite Anakin to the opera with him.
Do your visions continue, my boy?
Yes, Chancellor. I've meditated for hours to try to make sense of them, and sometimes I wonder if things are inevitable.
Nothing is inevitable. Not even death. Tell me, Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
When Anakin shakes his head, Palpatine continues.
He was a great Sith Lord, one so powerful that he was rumored to have been able to cheat death.
The words send a shiver down Anakin's spine as he stares at the Chancellor in shock, trying to see if he's being honest. But then he lowers his voice.
Such a thing is impossible. And even if there was, there must be a price. Especially if it was created by a Sith Lord. You're right about one thing. It is not something without a price. But surely to save your beloved, any price is worth paying.
Anything. His voice trails off as he thinks of Padme, wondering what he can do to help her. Nothing comes to mind, but at the same time, he thinks of Obi-Wan, who stuck his neck out to help him, of Yoda and Mace, who put their faith in him. And then alarm bells begin to sound in his head as he looks at Palpatine.
No, not anything. I have duties to the Jedi as well. I cannot just abandon them. And what have they done to earn that trust? They're holding you back. They have always held you back because they fear your power. It is why they made you a master, to watch you.
Anger flashes in Anakin as he glares at the Chancellor. He remembers the words Yoda told him when he was made a master, about how the darkness is ready to strike. Anakin suddenly stands up and bows.
I became a master because of my abilities. Unfortunately, Chancellor, I do not believe I'm feeling well. Please, excuse me.
The next day, Anakin is not summoned to the Chancellor's office like usual. Instead, he's told that Palpatine is busy and will see him another time. Truthfully, Anakin does not care too much and is pleased to have time off. He heads towards Padme's apartment to spend some time with her. As he approaches, a massive explosion rips through the building, sending shards and debris everywhere. Anakin barely manages to control his speeder as tiny shards rain down on him. He reaches the nearest landing pad and bursts in with his lightsaber ready. His eyes frantically search the room for any sign of danger before shifting his focus to look for Padme. He coughs and swipes his hand as smoke lingers in the air, curling up towards the ceiling, obscuring his vision. None of this stops him as he presses deeper in, desperately searching for his wife.
Padme, where are you?
Visions begin playing through his mind of the grim possibilities. But relief floods him as he hears a voice, not from inside the apartment, but from outside. He turns to see Padme, still in her Senate robes as she emerges. Anakin runs up to her and wraps her in a powerful embrace.
I'm okay, Anakin. I just got back from the Senate when I heard the news. There was an explosion?
I think so. I just arrived too.
His gaze shifts around the room as he assesses the damage. The Force hums around him as he reaches out, trying to sense any lingering presence. But there's nothing.
Could it have been a malfunction? An accident?
Anakin looks at his wife, sensing the fear in her, and nods.
It seems possible. I don't sense anyone else here.
Lucky then, neither of us was here.
Yeah. Lucky.
Suddenly, Anakin feels a strange presence in his mind, tugging at him and trying to pull him away from consciousness. Shaking his head, Anakin tries to shake it off and remain where he is. But there is something strangely insistent about it that he can't resist. He excuses himself, saying he needs some air, and heads over to the balcony while Padme talks to the authorities. Once he's alone, Anakin staggers and clutches his head as the world around him blurs, and a voice strikes through his head like a dagger.
You disappoint me, Anakin. There are consequences to defiances.
You. The Jedi were right about you.
I am far greater than anything the Jedi believe. But I am not ready to reveal myself.
Then you shouldn't have shown yourself to me.
Do you think you can reveal me? Remember, boy, I have dirt on you. No Jedi Master may take a wife, or in your case, be a widower.
Don't you dare touch Padme. I will make you pay if something happens to her.
Boldly spoken for someone who has little power in the situation. This is just the beginning. Comply, and the attacks will cease. Refuse, and you'll watch everything you love burn.
Anakin's jaw tightens as he tries to resist the vision, his muscles tensing with the effort. But the pain intensifies, twisting his thoughts and suffocating him with its intensity.
Remember, Anakin, I am the reason you became a Jedi Master. You owe everything to me. Now, obey my instructions or suffer the consequences.
A set of visions flash through Anakin's mind, providing him with instructions and sending him reeling back as he drops to his knees. Suddenly, he gets to his feet and says he must return to the Jedi Temple. However, he doesn't return in the way that the others think. Placing a dark robe over himself, Anakin stalks through the corridors, moving swiftly and carefully to avoid the security cameras in the temple. In his hands, he carries a satchel of explosives that he stealthily places in several areas of the Jedi Temple. Anakin gingerly plants them away from prying eyes, in buildings like the Archives, Hangar, and Meditation Chamber. It takes hours of work, but as his hand closes around the detonator, he waits until everyone is asleep and hits the button, sending dozens of explosions ripping through the temple and jolting everyone awake. Padawans, Jedi, and Masters scramble to their feet, desperately trying to make sense of what just happened in the temple. However, no one finds any trace of the attacker, and as morning rises, the mood in the temple is grim and somber as the Jedi try to assess the damage. Anakin is the first to act, heading to the authorities to see what information they can gather from Barriss. He returns with a report containing several like-minded individuals the Jedi had identified. These include workers and civilians who have expressed dissatisfaction with the Jedi Order. The Council soon convene a meeting to discuss this development. There are several names here. Do we have concrete evidence linking them to this plot? At the moment, no, but the guards believe they should be questioned, and some of them do have the means to carry out the attack. A few of them work here, in the areas attacked.
Trust in the guard's judgment, do you?
I believe it's worth looking into. We must at least take them in for questioning.
We should proceed carefully.
Agreed, but we cannot ignore this report. We must handle this delicately. The uncertainty in the Jedi Temple soon spreads to the streets as small groups of Coruscant Guard, along with hand-picked Jedi, go through the streets, apprehending suspects on the list. While many go willingly, others put up more of a fight, running away, trying to fight, or simply creating a scene. With dozens of people on the list, it takes quite some time to round everyone up, and word begins to spread about the Jedi rounding up civilians without a trial or due process. Soon, people begin to protest outside the temple, demanding the release of their friends and family. Palpatine's support further inflamed the issue by criticizing the Jedi and demanding more accountability. They claim the Jedi are starting to behave like dictators instead of peacekeepers and call for an investigation into their activities. The Chancellor takes it even a step further and threatens to send the clones to the temple and free the prisoners by force if the Jedi do not comply with these demands. This leads to a tense standoff between the Jedi and the Republic. This leaves Anakin caught in the middle. While Palpatine is setting up his plan, he continues to try to seduce Anakin to his side, saying that he does not have to die with the Jedi if he joins him. Although he despises everything the Chancellor makes him do, he cannot bring himself to turn against him with how much blackmail Palpatine has over him, and each event only adds to the blackmail he has against him. Meanwhile, the standoff between the Jedi only gets worse as their investigation leads to a dead end, making this a major humiliation for them while being a major political win for Palpatine, who decides to go through his second phase of the plan, storming the Jedi Temple with the clone army. He puts the task of leading this attack on Anakin.
The Jedi have embarrassed themselves enough. Now it is time to make our triumphant victory. You will lead the clone army to the Jedi Temple to free those wrongfully accused by them.
What makes you think I would do something like this?
This is not a request, boy. Consider this your chance of proving your worth to me. that you do not deserve to die along with the rest of them. Do this, and I shall save the one you love. I expect an answer soon."
As Anakin leaves, his head pounds as he wrestles with the choices he must make. These are only interrupted by his holocommunicator, which beeps and reveals Obi-Wan's image.
Anakin, it's good to see you, my friend. I'm on my way back to Coruscant. I've heard about everything that's happened.
You're coming back? But Grievous?
He slipped away, but we'll deal with him later. I wanted to check on you. I know it's been difficult since you became Master, especially with everything that's happened. I want you to tell me everything.
Anakin gulps, but then nods as he recounts everything that happened, careful to remove anything that might implicate him or the Chancellor in the attack. When he finishes, his voice is shaking. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for things to get so out of hand. It seems I'm not ready for the responsibility."
Anakin, you must not be too hard on yourself. You've always had a lot on your shoulders, more than most. And I know the difficulties of being a master. It's not an easy path for anyone. But know you are worthy of the position.
Anakin is silent, Obi-Wan's words cutting through his confusion. He's not angry, not suspicious, just supportive as he's always been. And Anakin comes to the grim realization that he's thrown that all away. "Master, if you can do me a favor, don't head to the Jedi Temple. Head to the Senate building when you arrive here." With that done, Anakin returns to the Chancellor's office hours later. Rather than sit down, he remains standing and glares at the Chancellor. His hands hover over his weapon as he stares at him. "I'm done, Chancellor. You've made me betray everything I've stood for, and I can't keep doing it. I'm going to the Council to confess everything and make sure they know you were involved."
Boldly spoken, but you've always been predictable, Skywalker. That's why you'll never win.
With a sudden burst of speed, Palpatine lunges forward, his lightsaber a blur as he pulls it from his robe. Anakin's eyes widen, and he barely brings up his lightsaber in time to block his attack. Smirking, Anakin pushes forward, and then whirls in a flurry of attacks, aiming at splitting Anakin in two. He parries each attack, letting their weapons clash and sending a surge of energy that shatters the light. As they shatter, Palpatine shifts the shards and hurls them at Anakin, who blocks them with his robotic hand. He winces as some of the shards pierce his skin, causing him to growl as the anger bubbles inside him. With renewed vigor, he presses against the older Force user, attacking, becoming heavier and more aggressive. Palpatine is surprised by the attacks. His refined technique cannot match his savagery. Eventually, he manages to knock Palpatine to the ground and leaps up with his lightsaber held high. However, Palpatine tucks his legs and kicks him, sending Anakin flying out of the window. As he falls through the air, Anakin knocks against the side of the building, but tries to take control. He redirects his fall, aiming towards the Chancellor's private landing pad, and calls upon the Force to break his fall. As he hits the ground, he looks up to see Palpatine falling after him, and smirks. The lightsaber in Palpatine's hand bathes him in a red glow as he rushes at Anakin. Before meeting the attack, the young Jedi presses a button on his comlink, sending his coordinates to Obi-Wan. The force of their clash sends a shockwave through the platform, causing nearby equipment to tremble. Anakin pushes the lightsaber away and then whirls for another attack, drawing on the raw power of his anger to enhance it. He thinks back to all the things the Chancellor made him do over the week, the people being betrayed, and the visions he's been forced to see. All of that only fuels his anger, and he unleashes attack after attack. It slowly drives Palpatine back step by step, but the Chancellor simply laughs.
Yes, give in to your anger. That is what I was trying to teach you. The powers are considerable, but it is nothing compared to the power of the dark side.
He lifts the debris and crates from the ground and hurls them toward Anakin, who flies back and stumbles to the ground. Palpatine laughs and follows with a torrent of Force lightning. Anakin barely manages to deflect it with his lightsaber, the energy crackling and arcing around him. The lightning surges the blade and blackens the ground around him. The sound of a lightsaber igniting behind him acquires both their attention.
Hello there.
Palpatine's attention shifts as the lightning falters. Obi-Wan rushes to engage Palpatine just as Anakin takes advantage of the distraction to leap to his feet and attack. The two force Palpatine to divert his attention as they attack as one.
So the mighty Sith Lord finally reveals himself.
You fool. You're blind to the traitor right in front of you, Master Kenobi.
I don't know what happened, I admit that. But I know you are too dangerous to remain in office.
The Jedi coordinate their attacks, pressing Palpatine on both sides. Obi-Wan's calm and measured strikes balance Anakin's aggressive, forceful blows, making for an excellent combination as they cover each other's weaknesses. The raw power radiating from Anakin is something Palpatine has rarely seen and tries to take him down. But each time Anakin's defenses fail, Obi-Wan is there to cover him. The Sith Lord snarls in frustration, deflecting Anakin's powerful downward strike, only to be met with a swift kick from Obi-Wan that sends him stumbling back.
You cannot win. I am the Senate.
Then the Senate is in trouble.
The momentum shifts as their combined strength prove too much, forcing Palpatine to retreat step by step. Closer to the edge of the platform where his private speeder waits, Anakin's blade nearly grazes Palpatine's chest, causing him to backpedal, his eyes wild with anger. Just as they push him to the speeder, its hatch opens with a sharp hiss. From within the darkness, a towering figure emerges. General Grievous, 4 lightsabers igniting, one in each of his mechanical hands. Their colors a mix of blue and green.
Your time is up, Jedi.
You think you're the only one who came here with an insurance plan?
Grievous enters the fight, spinning his lightsabers in a deadly blur. The sudden onslaught forces Anakin and Obi-Wan to split their focus. Grievous's strength and ferocity drive them back, his strikes landing like hammer blows that shake the platform. Anakin dodges a sweeping strike from Grievous, and counters with a slash that knocks one of Grievous's lightsabers out of his grip. Obi-Wan quickly follows up, deflecting a blow aimed for Anakin. Grievous roars in a fury, but the Jedi's teamwork is relentless.
Grievous, finish them!
But it's too late. As Grievous tries to regroup, Obi-Wan delivers a powerful force push that sends the cyborg staggering back. Anakin sees his opening and lunges forward, moving past Grievous and going for Palpatine. The Chancellor's eyes widen as he was unable to react in time, and felt the lightsaber slicing through his chest. Seeing the battle not going well, Grievous shoves Obi-Wan back as he leaps into the speeder and drives off. He begins to fly off, leaving Anakin and Obi-Wan to chase after him.
He's heading for the Jedi Temple. He can't take the Jedi Order alone.
He won't be alone. The clones will join him. Trust me. They exchange a look, then race to Obi-Wan's ship, swiftly taking off in pursuit of Grievous. As they soar through the bustling Coruscant skyline, Anakin takes a deep breath. Master, there's something I need to tell you.
What is it, Anakin?
I've made mistakes. The chaos at the temple, the arrests. Palpatine manipulated it all, and I played right into his hand.
Anakin, what have you done?
I thought I was doing what was right, but I see how wrong I was. He made me take part in it, threatened to expose things about me. I want to make it right, Master, but first we need to stop Grievous. Obi-Wan's expression softens, but he squares his jaw.
Agreed.
By the time they arrive, the attack has already begun as Grievous commands the clones forward. All of them were under the influence of Order 66 and were ordered to serve under Grievous as they attacked the people who they once called friends. The entire building is thrown into chaos as the clones stream forward, their advance unrelenting as younglings and Padawans scramble for safety, while the Jedi Knights and Masters rush to defend the sacred grounds. Blaster fire echoes through the hallways, punctuated by the hum of igniting lightsabers. Everywhere the cyborg is, Jedi fall like leaves to his attacks. He relentlessly cuts them down, laughing as he sends them falling to the ground. Obi-Wan and Anakin manage to land behind them and attack the clones, knocking them out with the Force or using their hand-to-hand combat skills to disarm them. Their lightsabers flash as they slice off weapons and leave the troopers unable to fight. They manage to help rally the remaining Jedi. Together, they secure the landing pad and begin the process of evacuating the younglings and Padawans, while the remaining Jedi and Masters secure the temple grounds hall by hall.
The clones have turned. We need to get to the council chambers.
Let's move. While the other Jedi fight to reclaim different parts of the temple, Anakin and Obi-Wan carve a path through the chaos, the clones falling under the combined assault. The tide begins to turn as more Jedi rally to their defense, until the two reach the grand doors of the chamber. Inside, Grievous is already engaged in a fierce duel with Mace Windu and the remaining members of the Jedi Council. His 4 lightsabers whirl in a deadly dance, their glowing blades a blur of color as he keeps the Jedi Council back. Ajen Kolar ducks under the attacks and tries to rush Grievous, but the cyborg's foot lashes out and slams him into the ground.
Your end is near, Jedi. The galaxy belongs to the Empire.
Mace has more luck and blocks the attack, pushing his lightsaber.
Not while we stand.
Anakin and Obi-Wan join the fight without hesitation. With their arrival, the odds begin to shift. Grievous now facing a combined onslaught from some of the most powerful Jedi in the Order. His torso spins around, unleashing an arc of light that slowly moves towards the Jedi, trying to stop them from surrounding him. He focuses on Kit Fisto and CC-10. The latter is too slow and is sliced apart, but Kit Fisto leaps up and avoids the attack. Anakin takes the chance and attacks from behind, trying to crack through his defenses while Obi-Wan is more cautious. Alongside Mace, the two target his joints, but the cyborg is sure to defend against each attack while he steps back. The Jedi are relentless. Grievous's spinning blades are met with coordinated strikes, blocking, parrying, and countering every move. Seeing this, the cyborg pushes his lightsabers forward, creating a whirlwind of energy that sends Obi-Wan sliding back. Mace feels the energy and tries to absorb it, advancing and slicing off one of Grievous's arms. Meanwhile, as the attack slackens, Anakin takes the opportunity to attack. He attacks Grievous's blind spot and scores another blow towards his side, sending sparks flying as exposed circuits flash. Kit Fisto follows up by severing his other arm and allows Mace to reach out with the Force to pull the opening further apart. This allows Obi-Wan to rush in and drive his lightsaber into the exposed sections of Grievous's body. The cyborg's circuits begin to overload as he trembles and drops to the ground. The room falls silent. The battle is finally over, but the remaining council members look at Anakin.
It's done, but we have much to discuss.
Anakin, exhausted but resolute, looks to Obi-Wan. The time has come to face the consequences of his actions. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.